Simon Sinek is an American author and speaker. 2 of his books have had a profound influence on leaders in business and public service. Those are Start with Why and Leaders Eat Last. Start with why. How great leaders inspire everyone to take action. Simon Sinek published his first book in 2009, and it very quickly became a bestseller. In Start with Why, Sinek compares the 2 main ways that leaders can influence behaviour: inspiration and manipulation. And I hope this is no surprise to you, he argues that inspiration is both the more powerful and the more sustainable of the 2. So, since people are inspired by a sense of purpose, the answer to the question why, that's what leaders need to address first before anything else. Only then can they start to communicate the how and the what. Why, how and what form Sinek's Golden Circle, with the why, people's purpose and meaning, at the centre of the circle. This is surrounded by the how, which represents our methods and our processes. And around this is a ring labelled what, which represents our results and our outcomes. Sinek relates his Golden Circle to the simple model of the brain known as the triune brain. In this simple schematic cross-section of the brain, we find 3 layers. Sinek doesn't make a direct one-to-one comparison between the 3 levels of his Golden Circle and the 3 layers of the triune brain. But he does argue that there is a correspondence. The neocortex is the part of our brain that's responsible for our ability to think analytically and rationally. This is where we plan, and it's where Sinek identifies the what of this Golden Circle. The limbic system, on the other hand, is the part of our brain that is responsible for our emotions and for our instincts. Here, Sinek suggests, lie the answers to the how and, importantly, the why questions. Interestingly, the limbic system has no control over language, which is perhaps why we find it so hard to describe our feelings. But more relevant, it's also why we need to articulate meaning and purpose, the answer to the question why, as simply as possible, so that it cuts through the rational part of our brain and addresses the emotional limbic system. In this book, Sinek tells us that it is the role of a leader to inspire purpose in our followers by answering the question why. It's this that will empower us to solve our problems, to innovate, and to take risks. Leaders eat last. Why some teams pull together and others don't. Leaders Eat Last addresses the question of why some organisations do better than others. It was published just a year after Start with Why, and it continued some of the same themes. For a company to be successful, Sinek argued, it needs to understand its purpose and to pursue that purpose as if it is a North Star. But this book isn't only about purpose, it's also about setting values, good conduct, and crucially, care for your people. In this book, Sinek advocates for servant leadership, a topic I covered in detail in a video that I'll link to in the description. Servant leadership is quite simply the idea that the role of a leader is to serve the people that they lead by giving them the resources they need and helping to remove the distractions that will get in the way of doing the job that they need to do. But Sinek also relates this to a biological need that humans have to be a part of a group. However, that need can also conflict with our needs to do the things that we want to do for ourselves. Because we all want to serve our own interests, as well as the interests of the groups with which we belong. Sinek discusses this in terms of 4 groups of chemicals inside our bodies. Endorphins and dopamine drive us to meet our own biological needs for safety and security and for food and for shelter. They have the power to help us persevere in looking for solutions to problems and maintaining action until we get things done. Serotonin and oxytocin encourage us to work well with other people, to enjoy the relationships that we build. They help to create feelings of trust, team spirit, and loyalty. Indeed, oxytocin may well be the hormone that is most associated with the formation of loving bonds. But together, they strengthen social bonds and drive the kind of cooperation that allows us to work together to achieve things as a team that we can't achieve on our own. Sinek suggests that when we feel safe within a team, there is a healthy balance among all of those 4 groups of chemicals. He calls this a circle of safety, and within a circle of safety, we feel confident to progress organisational and group goals, knowing that we as individuals are safe and looked after. However, without a circle of safety, there is an imbalance among those chemicals and we no longer feel safe and confident. It hampers our ability to work with the group because we feel more of a pressure to pursue our own self-interest. And I also have to answer the question, why does Sinek use the title, Leaders Eat Last? This is a reference to military life. In many militaries, it is common practice within a dining hall for the leader to make sure all of their team eat first. The role of a commander is to make sure that their unit is fighting fit, and therefore to look after their welfare. This means the commander will always eat last to ensure that their team gets as much food as they need. Sinek says that leaders are the ones who are willing to look out for those to the left of them and those to the right of them. Leaders are the ones who are willing to give up something of their own for us. Their time, their energy, their money may be the food off their plate. When it matters, leaders choose to eat last. In summary, I want to pick out 3 big ideas for leaders that Sinek puts forward. Number 1 is that people need a sense of purpose, and therefore leaders need to answer the question why first. The second is that leaders need to look after their people. They must create a healthy and safe environment within their organisations for their people to thrive. And number 3 is that good leadership derives from brain structure and biological chemistry. What makes good leadership is built into the way human beings are made. Please do give this video a like if you've enjoyed it or learned from it. I'll be making loads more great management courses videos for you, so please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of them. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and in the meantime, keep learning.